Good afternoon, gang. Good morning, good evening, good night. Depending on where you are in the world, welcome back to this week's altcoin update. First and foremost, remember nothing discussed today is financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor, and it's just for educational purposes only. Now that's out of the way, we're going to jump into some altcoin charts today. Now we've had a few requests. If you do want to request some altcoins, either let us know down in the comments below or follow us over on Twitter. Our link is down in the description below. And we put out a post every Monday asking for some altcoins to chart. And the most popular ones that we've had today were Paladin, AI, OP, and AB. And obviously a few votes for OP as well. So they are going to be the charts that we're going to look at today. So we'll get that off the screen. Now, before we jump into these charts and look at some potential setups on the cards, big shout out to today's video sponsor, Prime XBT. If you don't know who Prime are, they are a crypto exchange that is non-KYC. And aside from crypto, they also offer Forex, commodities, and stock indices trading. And the beauty of these guys is you can use crypto as collateral. So if you do want to check them out, we've got a link down in the description. It is an affiliate link. And if you do use our link, then you get up to a $7,000 deposit bonus. So yeah, if you do want to check them out, links down below. Now that's out of the way, here we go. Let's zoom in, shall we? So OP, we've not looked at OP for quite some time. So first and foremost, let's just do some really basic tier. Let's find out. In fact, let's bring on the volume profile because it's easier doing it this way, and we can see where all the volume is right now. Now, on top of that, let's go into the weekly. Okay, so in terms of structure, this is really straightforward, and this is what we need to really concentrate on first and foremost. Structure is up. So if we're looking at a monthly time frame here, first and foremost, high, low, high, 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 low, high, high. So monthly is still in an uptrend. Okay, so as much as the markets are pulling back today, and you know, some people do get very doom and gloom about these things. Could the bull run be over? Yeah, of course it could. Could the bull run be just getting started? Yeah, of course it could. Nobody knows. So we just need to trade the technical levels on the charts. So looking at the monthly, it's still in an uptrend. Looking at the weekly, it's still in an uptrend. The weekly changes if we start to get weekly candle closures below that level. And I don't mean a little bit below that level. I don't mean like a little candle body below that. I mean a full-on closure below that level. Convincing. You want a convincing structure break. So for all we know right now, this could just come down here within the same week, whether that's this week, next week, or a few weeks into the future, get itself back up above here and continue the uptrend. And that's something we do see quite frequently. Now, I'm not saying that works every single time because this is trading. We're working on probabilities. Sometimes these things work, sometimes these things don't work. But what I'm saying is weekly could come all the way down here and then close back above this level and still maintain a weekly uptrend, which in turn, the monthly would still be an uptrend. The only thing that we've got going against us right now is the daily. So if we just get rid of these squiggles for now, we can see here the daily has started to show some signs of weakness. Okay, so we do have this daily candle closure below this last swing low that caused the high. So the daily has, in my eyes, broken structure to the downside. But once again, it's not a death sentence. This doesn't mean it's game over. It could be, but it also might not be. So we're looking at it right down here now. So let's look at options to the downside first for longs. Okay, so first and foremost, let's draw this line back on because this is an important line. Now, if we were to come down here, grab the liquidity from these lows and potentially into this high volume node down here, and then start to show some strength on the back of that, then there's the potential for a long trigger. Okay, can we tie that in with anything else? Let's do a fib from this low, this major pivot low. Now, I don't know if this pivot low is the same on all exchanges, but for the time being, we're just going to look at it like this. And we can see here what that would give us. It would give us a golden pocket. Okay, we all know the golden pocket is a powerful tool. It's not the be all and end all because if we have no confluence there, then a golden pocket means jack shit, quite frankly. However, we can see here we've got this high volume node below it. So we've got a golden pocket and a high volume node just below it. So if we do get something along those lines, then there's a potential for a long opportunity there. Now, depending on how the structure looks on the way down, if this just continues to come down in a straight line, this means that if this does get the bounce back up, it's got more of a chance of running back to the next sticky volume cluster. And as we can see here, looking on the volume profile, the next sticky cluster would be this zone here. So we could be looking all the way back up to these levels. Now, What happens if this doesn't hold and this does start to roll over further? Well, once again, let's just bring that Fibonacci back from the low up to the high, and let's see what else we've got on here. Now we can see here that if we do lose this golden pocket, and effectively down to this 707 region here, the next part where the volume starts to come in, and you can see here on the volume profile. Okay, we've got value area high here, roughly around 205. If we start to come lower than that, then the volume starts to pick up here. So we've got an area around the 786, about 175 for easy numbers. If this gives us something to work with, great, cool. Now, once again, I'm looking at this on a high time frame. So therefore, if and when price comes into these areas, you then want to be zooming in. You want to be flicking down to a lower time frame, something like the 4 hour, something like the 1 hour. See if it gives you your setup criteria. If it gives you the setup criteria, great, you've got a trade. If it doesn't give you the setup criteria, you've got no trade. Okay, it's not just a case, and I say this time and time again, I sound like a stuck record, but you guys come here for some no bullshit TA. Okay, it's not a case of I'm just going to leave some stink bid limit orders down here and just hope for the best. Because what if price just does this and it goes to 0? Is it likely? No. Is it possible? Yes. So therefore, what's the point in trading like that? What's the point in gambling? And I think that's something that we've seen quite a lot of, especially over the last couple of months. A lot of gambling. A lot of influencers touting for 1000x plays, 10x plays, 100x plays. All this bullshit. All this bullshit. And in the end, what's happening right now is all these people that's been sucked into these influencers talking absolute shite have now just started to get liquidated, and we can see it. You know, I'm not making this up. I can see the liquidations. You know, this is just on Bitcoin. I can see the liquidations. People are over leveraged and gambling like hell, hoping for that one moonshot opportunity to change their life. Quite frankly, these are the people that end up ruining their lives because they just give it all back. Okay, so that's what we're going to look at to the downside now. What if that 786 doesn't hold? Well, quite frankly, you can see here clear as day where the point of control is across this. The point of control is coming in at 138, give or take. So if this 786 does not hold, then ultimately I'm looking back down into this region. If this region does hold, then that gives you arguably one of the best risk to rewards out of the whole chart. If it starts to come lower than that, then we're just looking where the volume is, just underneath this low, down here, around this low, and you can see, and we'll just play it down. You want to see where the volume is. It's the only true metric that we've got, and it's people ignore volume profiles. You know, they look at these and go, oh yeah, look, it's bullish volume on a breakout, yeah, it's great. This means jack shit. This is total number of transactions. This is total number of buys and total number of sells added together. Okay, that's what this shows. So just because, in my case, I have a white volume bar or a grey volume bar, that doesn't mean it's bullish volume or bearish volume. That just corresponds to the colour of the candle. So it doesn't tell you what's going on inside here. However, the volume profile shows us where the bulk of the volume came in. That's where you want to be interested. Okay, so hopefully you've learned something out of that. If you have, hit that like button. If you do want to learn, by the way, how to understand this, how to incorporate this, how to understand the order flow, and you can see where the masses go wrong, which means it's very easy to get on the counter side of that trade, then come over to our website. The link's down in the description. Okay, on our website, got access, glimpse of some of the content that we have. Click on the Join Us tab, and for the grand old price of 79 Great British Pounds, you'll get access to not only all of our educational video library. In fact, there's way more than 75 now. I need to update this again because we keep adding to it weekly. But we get daily crypto updates, daily forex updates, daily stock market updates. I go through all the charts, okay, as well as all the education. In fact, you can see this one. There we go. So this is what a glimpse of on the inside. So this was calling for the local high on Bitcoin before the big pullback. So obviously our guys knew that we're looking for shorts in this region, which also likely gives a pullback to the wider market, including altcoins. Okay, so we've got all this, and there's so much educational content on here. Okay, so if you really do want to learn how to trade properly and not be a degenerate gambler, then come over, come check us out. Okay, right. Now I've had my little rant about that. So that's OP. So now let's talk about upside. Okay, so we haven't talked about what's potential for upside. if we do start to bounce, now once again, I'm looking at the volume profile here. Okay, we do have a high volume cluster here, which is this consolidation here before we got the all-time high. So if we do start to move back up, then we've got the potential for a sticky zone here. Okay, and again, let's just add a little bit more confluence just for fun as it stands right now. You've got that 0.5 as it is there. You've got the golden pocket just above it. You've got a little bit of fib confluence. Now, ideally, what you'd want to see realistically, if you were to take this into account, is you want to see this come a bit lower. So if this price action comes a little bit lower first, starts bringing this down, perhaps to take out these lows down here, coming down into that sticky volume here. And you can see now, look at this. This changes things. Now, again, this is trying to crystal ball this shit. But if it does roll over and it does take out this low, and it comes into this high volume node here, which is that golden pocket as we just discovered. And then we do come down here, and then we start coming back up. Well, we've got a golden pocket into potentially a golden pocket. Okay, so this is the sticky zone. If you start to clear this golden pocket and this sticky zone here, get rid of these now, then realistically, we can start looking at targeting all-time highs again. Okay, so this doesn't have to come down first. What I'm saying is, if this does turn around and gets back above this volume cluster, roughly around $3.94, then we can realistically start looking at new all-time highs again. Okay, and at new all-time highs, once again, same idea. Does it come back up, come back down, cheeky swing fairly pattern, or does it continue to run? We don't know. We'll have to wait and see when it gets there. We need a little bit more data first. Okay, so that's OP. Really straightforward. AB. Oh, this is one that we've not charted for a while. So when did we last chart this? Roughly around the start of January. So this range that we had in play, lovely range lows, range highs, deviation, or up to the outer deviation. Okay, so let's just get rid of this internal volume profile here. What have we got going on here now? The guys in our members will know what I'd be looking for after we see this of a range play. And I'm not going to spoil that for anyone because that's one of the strategies that we teach. However, we've got to take this level to level. So where are we at now? We've come back into the EQ of the range. Okay, we've had a nice tap of the EQ. We've had a bit of a bounce. Okay, is it a major bounce? We'll find out. Good 8% bounce from hitting that EQ. Okay, so now what we've got to ask ourselves? Let's talk about downside first. Let's say we lose this EQ. Then, realistically, we can see where the point of control is. The point of control is roughly around 116. So you've got a nice zone here between the point of control and the range lows. Okay, this is the consolidation that led to the breakout to the upside. So we've got some nice confluence in this area down here. So once again, 116, 117, give or take, down to 109. Now, if you're bullish, you'd want that to hold. And if it does hold and it gives you some strength down there, it gives you a market structure break, it gives you something to work with, then there's a long opportunity. Now, if that doesn't hold, then unfortunately, we're going to be coming back down to target some of these lows. Okay, grabbing some liquidity, potentially, down here. And if that didn't hold, then, fortunately, we're going to be targeting the overall lows and a full-on liquidity grab down here or lower. Let's talk upside now. So what happens if this EQ holds and we start to meander back up? Well, we've still got to get through all this. Bear in mind, we have had a sideways range up here. Okay, so if we come down here, get back up into this range, and then get a rejection, then once again, we can start looking at lower prices. This is a big thing. So realistically, for this to contest these highs, we need to start clearing above without a swing failure pattern, 226, 227. Start clearing above that, then we can start looking at new highs. Okay, again, I'm not sure if every exchange has this initial candle here, so I'm just going to ignore that for the time being. But if we do start to clear this, then we can start looking at this. But until we get back into this range, it's pointless looking at higher prices. Okay, right now we're hovering below this range. Really simple TA on AB, really simple. As I said, the guys in the Discord will know exactly what I'm looking for after this has happened. Now, Paladin. Now, typically speaking, I don't chart altcoins based on Uniswap, but this is the one that I found, so we're just going to have to play with it. Okay, so looking at this on the daily. So again, overall structure is still pointing up. Okay, high highs, high lows, just continuing up. The daily is still technically in an uptrend because that is the daily low that caused the new high. Now, what have we got out of this? Obviously, we're having a pullback. Makes sense. It is quite extended. Even if we just look at this on a there 3618, it's very extended of a move, very extended. Now, one thing that you got to take into consideration when I say something's very extended, I'm talking about Fibonacci. Okay, Fibonacci extension. This is very extended. I'm not looking at RSI. I'm not looking at stochastics or anything along those lines or any bullshit indicators that people have out there. There's no such thing as oversold or overbought. Okay, markets can stay in overbought territories or oversold territories longer than you can remain liquid. Okay, it's a big joke, and it's something that you get lulled into when you first start trading. Okay, but from a Fibonacci extension point of view, this is very overextended. Does this mean it has to have a deep pullback? No, it doesn't. This could continue going up. There are more extension levels above this. But for the time being, it's very extended now. Also, one thing that we can take into consideration is your volume. Your volume's way higher on this spike here compared to this spike here. So naturally, you have got some divergence there. So I'm guessing if you look on the daily RSI, you're going to have some bearish divergence between these 2 points here. Probably drags all the way back to there, but I'm not even bothered about looking because I don't use it. But yeah, so you have got the signs of a local top. But does that mean new lows? Or does that mean just simple correction before moving on up? And let's wait and see. Okay, so let's talk about downside targets first. Okay, this is really simple, by the way. You can see this. Clear as day, you can see this. So let's do a fib from this pivot. This is the major pivot that caused this whole move up to here. Okay. Now, what we're looking for is we're looking for confluence. Okay, so have we got a Fibonacci level near any high volume? Okay, we've got the 0.5 here, which is slightly above this high volume node down here. Got a golden pocket here, which is kind of sat in a precarious position. This area of the volume node is fine at the top of the golden pocket. Start coming down to the bottom of the golden pocket, about the 0.65. It's very thin. Now, how much do I trust this volume profile? That's another story, because I'm not sure if TradingView can pull the right data through from Uniswap. Someone let me know down in the comments if it's accurate or not. I have no idea. That's why I typically speak and stay away from these charts unless it's on a centralized exchange. So, what we've got here is a couple of areas. We've got one area down here, which I'd be interested in. Okay, I would be interested in. High volume node down into this daily zone here, which caused the up thrust. So if you do come down into this zone and get some sort of strong reaction, then yeah, there's potential for a long trigger there. Now, if that doesn't hold and it comes down lower, then once again, we've got another zone down here. Sticky cluster, not massively sticky in terms of volume, as long as we stay at the top of the golden pocket around the 618. But if we do, and we start to see some strength, then yeah, we've got long opportunities. Now, if this doesn't hold, then if you're bullish, then you've got a bit of an issue. Because then realistically, I'd be looking, quite frankly, back down to these sort of zones here. Okay, the absolute origin of the move. Now, once again, if you are holding this coin and you are an Uber bull and you're a bag holder and you know you're one of these diamond hand community members, and I'm saying these kind of prices, you're going to absolutely hate me and switch off, and that's absolutely fine. That's absolutely fine. But the difference between me and you is I'm a technical trader. Okay, all I'm bothered about looking at where on the chart am I likely going to get a reaction if price comes there. Okay, I don't care about overly bullish, overly bearish. I'm just looking at where on the chart I can take a trade. Okay, but that's what I'll be looking for. So if this area fails, okay, or this area fails, then I'm going to be looking down there. Now, let's talk about upside. Okay, what if this holds? What if this holds where we are now? Okay, and it just starts to turn around? Well, quite frankly, if it does just start to turn around like this, then once again, there's nothing really much in terms of volume. Bear in mind that this is trading on a DEX. There's nothing really holding it back. You know, if it does continue up, then we can start contesting all-time highs again. Once up here, you know, if we got something like this, Or have we just got something like this? We have to wait and see. Okay. But yeah, just really simple. You know, charts like this are really easy to work with. Really easy to work with. It's understanding basic TA. TA is easy. Okay? TA is easy. If you can be bothered to put in the time and effort to learn TA, it becomes very easy. It becomes second nature. Hard part is the execution and the trigger and the control in your brain. If you can get all that together, then yep, you can do the TA and you can become a trader. If you can't put those two things together, then you might be really good at analysis and figuring it out, but you'd be shit at trading. Or you're really bad at analysis, but you're not so bad at trading. Okay? Very rare that you get both skills together, unless you're willing to put in the time and effort and go wrong a fair few times. Okay? But that's what I'll be looking at. Okay? Hopefully you've learned something. If you have, and you've enjoyed the content, hit that like button. If you're not subscribed, consider subscribing. And until next time, gang, as you were, bye-bye.